Hi, happy Friday. Welcome, come on in, and welcome to the Hour of Power. It's going to be with me and the powerful Erin Elise. I'm so excited that she's going to be joining me this morning. I'm going to give her a second to come on, and we have a lot to talk about this morning. I'm excited because we're going to be unveiling all of the Leap Retreat speakers. There's Erin. Hey, Erin. Let me get you in here. See if this works. It says it's inviting. Connecting. There
Hey,
she is. Hey, Erin.
hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good morning.
Good too. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
I'm so excited. You guys, Erin, I call her my spiritual twin, and it's a joke that we have between us. It's so funny because Erin and I met, and the moment we met, we connected. And when we started talking, we felt like our stories were very similar. And we've been through a lot of the same spiritual journeys. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely agree. It was so funny because when we were talking, I would say certain things to Rachel. Rachel would kind of start laughing, or she would like have like this look on her face, and I'm like, "What? What is it?" Like, you would not believe this, but similar. I went through something similar, so it's really nice to see that. Like that makes me happy.
Yeah. So we have all these things in common. So we started to talk, and we began to, talk about our story and our journey. And we realized that we are not alone in the fact that, there's several people that have been raised in the church that have had a foundation of faith and for whatever reason have strayed.
Yeah.
And sometimes it becomes too much. Sometimes there's church hurt. Sometimes the disappointment of life and the things that happen in your day to day can kind of push you out of relationship and push you out of the position where you kind of go to God for everything. And so Erin and I were really talking about this. And so we felt like it would be really powerful for us to come to you and talk about our experiences on getting back to the basics, on how we were able to get back with God and build our relationship and now build ministries. And so I wanted to give Erin kind of a moment to just discuss where she was when she decided, okay, I have to answer this call, and that process to kind of encourage you, and then we'll talk a little bit and ask questions. Hi, Diana. Hi, Natasha. Hey, Kenyatta. All right, Erin, go ahead.
Yeah. Yes. So when I answered the call, I was actually at one of the lowest points in my life. And it was such a strange time for me because it kind of felt like everything in my life, the life that I had built for me, that life was collapsing before my eyes. And I was at a very low point, and so I was in prayer, and I was praying and asking God what to do, and that is when He began to reveal to me, hey, listen, this is what I want you to do. I need you to step out and do this. You were playing safe. You wanted things to go a certain way. You wanted your white picket fence. You wanted, to have these things, but I have something in mind for you. So I was in that very downtrodden state, if you would, when I answered the call. And from that moment on, as soon as God told me what He wanted me to do, I just hit the ground running because I felt like, honestly, like my life depended on it. Everything I had was crashing down before my very eyes. And so it was like my life, literally, the quality of my life, like everything is riding off of what I decide to say yes or no to at this time. And I'm going to say yes for once.
Yeah. You guys, those of you that are coming in, go ahead and share the video. We're going to make some big announcements in this video. We want to make sure that everyone sees it. But Erin, I can totally relate to what you're saying. I think for me, I had grown up in the church, and I grew up, all the time, every week, a couple times a week. And so when I was an adult and I was able to make my own decisions, I was like, I think I'm going to curve that a little bit. I'm not going to go anymore. I'm going to do my own thing. and
Yeah.
my mess became so large,
Mm-hmm.
and I was so unhappy, and I was depressed, and I went through all these things. And to be completely transparent, and that's something that I encourage, you know, I was finding love in all of the wrong places and dealing with the wrong people, and just trying to find something that was really missing. There was a hole that was, you know, there that I was trying to fill. And I finally kind of got to the lowest point, and I said, what is it that's different? Like, how did I get here? Where did I go wrong? And I realized it was when I took out God. It was when I decided to stray. It was when I made the very conscious choice to be like, peace, I'm good. I'm going to do my own thing. And so I started to reinsert God into my life. And I started to learn the difference between religion and relationship. I started to understand that, you know, the tradition, while all of that might have a purpose and a place at certain times, that it really can sometimes disrupt the relationship that you have with the Father. And it was getting that relationship that pulled me out of my mess. So what would you say to someone that, you know, is kind of where we were, that's in that place, and they don't know how to get back right with God. They don't know how to get back to, you know, a place where they can bring him into their life, invite him back into their life, and really trust because of all the disappointment that they've had.
Woo! Well, I would say you're talking to someone who understands. You're talking to two women who understand that. You know, I grew up in the church as well. My father ordained as a minister, wasn't a minister at that time. And so I kind of had it crammed down my throat too. And a lot of horrible things went on at that time. I watched my family kind of be tore apart, right? My life, the life that I had grown to love as a child, was ripped from me. And so the last place I wanted to be was church. So I can understand why some of us, we were afraid to go back, because it's a representation of pain. It's a representation of maybe someone falling short, you know. But say that there's only so far that you can get in life without God. Like I was like the expert, like self-help, right? I even did life coaching, right? We laughed about that. And you know, it's not funny. It's not something that's like, oh, life coaching, that sucks. No, what I was focusing on was all self. What can I do for me? How can I heal these parts of my life? And what we have to understand is that we are limited and we need God. We need him for healing. We need a relationship. And through the relationship with God, when you're finally at that point where your life is just, maybe it's just in shambles, right? And you just can't take anymore, and you finally cry out to God and you develop that relationship, things inside of you will change.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you may not see church the way that you saw it before, because there's this need that you have now that must be met, you know, and that happens through the fellowship with others. So I'm not going to take that whole answer. I think that you should, you know, come on in.
You know, for me, and I think I've said this a couple times in other videos, but for me, I recall people telling me growing up, that God can be whatever it is that you need him to be. And so I felt like it was something that we said, but we didn't practice. It was like, yeah, God can be whatever you need him to be. He'll be there for your pain. He'll be there, you know, for your joy. He'll be there for everything. He's a shoulder to cry on. He's all these things. And we would say it, but we wouldn't actually take the action to insert him in those positions to be everything. And so in relationship, I learned how to do that. I learned how to say, I am lonely right now. I need someone to talk to, and I would talk to God. Or I learned how to say, you know, I'm angry right now, and I need someone to like listen to my frustration. And I would tell God. And I stopped thinking that there was this formula for talking to him, or there was this formula for praying. I started to realize that, no, I literally could talk to him like how I talk to my friend, like how I talk to my mother, like how I talk to my husband. And it was those times where I felt like I needed those different roles that I might, you know, have just mentioned, that I put him there, and I didn't feel empty anymore. And I think that's something that, you know, those of you that are on the video should really try practicing. You know, if you have this moment where you feel like, I'm just so lonely and I want somebody to lay next to me right now, you know, start talking to him, and he'll be your friend. He'll be your spouse. He'll be your mother. He'll be all of these different things. You can't just say it though. It's the action.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny about what you just said. You can't just say it, because I have noticed that there have been times like where I will pray and I will genuinely mean what I say, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like, God, I need you. I love you, you know, whatever. And there's still, it feels like there's still this divider, right? But then there'll be a time where I am so like, this is it. Like, I can't do anything. Like, I can't move forward. I can't stay ahead. I'm like falling apart. Like, you. And when it's like the heart has to be in a certain space in order for you to communicate like that. And when it's real like that, I feel like that's when we really experience God, because we're not doing the God thing. We're not like, oh, holiest Father, Lord God, you know, blah, and you know, that's, it's good in its rightful place, but that's not real relationship.
Right.
That's formality. And we see David. Look how David talked to God. Look how Abraham talked to God. You know, look how these people approached him. They approached him. I need you, man. You know, like, God, did you really say that to me? Look at Gideon. Hey, Lord, don't smite me. I know you could smite me, but if you could just confirm this like a good 3 to 4 times what you're saying, I need that for me.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
He will.
Yeah. I think, you know, too, sometimes it's easy when you finally get to that place and you insert him, it's easy to revert when you feel like bad things start happening. So it's like, okay, I figured it out. I'm back to you, God. I trust you. I love you. I'm talking to you. And then things happen. And you're like, okay, I don't understand. I came back to you. I'm trusting you. I'm trying to build this relationship with you. You told me you have my back. Why are these things happening to me? And, sometimes I think too, we get this promise, and then the promise doesn't manifest how we thought it was going to, or when we thought it was going to. And then we revert again. What do you say to those moments? How do you stay centered and in relationship and encouraged when those things happen?
It's funny because we were just talking about this on the Facebook Live video.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that it's a process of becoming. There's a time period between God's promise and the manifestation of that promise. And that in-between period is the becoming. But what you're saying is, hey, I've done all the right things. I've prayed, we've been talking, and my life still seems to be going down the drain. I would say that there's a test period as well. He's cleansing us of some things. Sometimes he tests us in certain areas to it's almost like a detox, right? Detoxing us from certain mentalities, from doing things a certain way. And so it's like, to get into this frame of mind, to get into this frame of heart, so that I can do something for you. But right now, you're set on how you think it's supposed to go, how you think it should be, on the time period that you have in mind. And I have to kind of do those things. So I would just stay strong, stay encouraged, and know that you're in good company, because I can't see too many examples in the Bible where people did not go through.
That's right.
Same story, just a different day.
Nietzsche wrote The Process of Becoming, and that is exactly what it is. It's the process of becoming. And, I think that you're right. We can look at the Bible and we can see all these other people that have gone through different things, but somehow we seem to think like we're supposed to be exempt. Jesus went through things. You know what I mean? It's like everyone has to go through these difficult times. I watched the movie The Shack, and it kind of shed some light. I love that movie. It sheds some light on how, there are bad things that happen, and it doesn't mean that God necessarily wanted them to, but he gives us all the freedom to choose. And as long as he gives us that freedom, then there will be people that choose evil. And if there's a presence of evil in the world, then those things can then happen to you. You know what I mean? Evil can affect you. And still understanding that he's still God though during that. He's still on the throne during that. He's there. He's a part of it. He's in the midst of the bad situations. So my thing to everyone that's on is, I encourage you that at those times to, like Erin said, stay committed, stay faithful, be strong, and understand that it's a part of the process. It's a part of your testimony. It's a part of your story, and it's necessary. It has to happen. You have to allow the walls to be broken down in your life. You have to. You have to be able to be raw and real and transparent with God and say, I am hurting right now. This is difficult for me. I am mad at you right now. I think sometimes we have these feelings and we don't tell him, as if he doesn't know. It's like, like, I'm not going to tell him that really what I'm feeling right now is that I'm mad because I don't understand he would do this. Or really what I'm feeling right now is I'm sad, and none of this makes sense to me. And there are times where we blame him. You know what I mean? And of course that's never right. But the truth is, we can't deny those times that we feel that, because he knows it. Right. The best thing to do is to confess it and to talk about it and to move past it.
Absolutely. It's funny. I've had some real victim-y moments, and it's like, you come to God as the victim, right? Like, you're like, God, understand how this is happening. Like, what did I do wrong? Why me, God? Why do I have to go through this? Like, it seems like everybody else is doing all right, and I'm the one that has to be in shamble land, what? And I have had those moments with him where I do that, and I feel better afterwards.
That's right.
Said what I had to say. Moment, it's a teaching moment, because then he will respond. Sometimes you'll get a word. Sometimes you'll hear him. He'll speak to you. But other times it's just to express how you feel, and that's what you do in a relationship. You communicate how you feel, and then there's the feeling of knowing. That he hears you, because it says that the word says that he hears us when we pray. Yeah. Whether we think so or not.
Yeah. Dana said, yes, I dealt with that a lot during infertility, and she was thinking, why did you choose me to go through this? And it's amazing, because Dana's story, if you haven't seen her video, it's beautiful. She went through infertility. She ended up becoming a foster mother, and she adopted her son. And the story of her and her husband, they're beautiful, and they have a wonderful, wonderful story. But it's a testimony, and there's so many people that, if she hadn't have gone through that, you know what I mean? There are people that needed her. They needed her help. They needed to hear that that's what happened to her. And so sometimes I think we get so locked into the fact that it's happening to us that we realize it's not about us. We don't realize that it's not about us. Like, yeah, you're going through it, but maybe it was never for you.
Right.
Maybe it was for them. And he's using you. And what a beautiful gift to be used. Right. That he thought enough of you to use you, to allow these things to happen for you to be an inspiration to someone else.
Yeah. It's like if you're going through something like that, it's because he knows that you can handle it. You're covered.
That's right.
In that area, in that situation. There's a covering when we're going through that stuff, even though we can't see it or feel it. We don't feel covered, because we feel raw as all outdoors. Like, we're like, man, this is too much, but there is a covering. And that, like you said, it's for someone else. It's so much bigger than us. We see this, and God is like, it's all of this. It's all of this. It's not just this.
Right. That's right. There's a couple other things I want to touch on too. So we talked about, getting back to relationship and how you can stray and what it's like to get back. We talked a little bit about just those feelings when disappointment happens and how to kind of cope with those feelings. I think something else that is important is when you get back to relationship, it's understanding that you have to maintain the relationship just like you would any other. So like if you are married, there's time that you have to put in. there are things that, you know, you have to do with your husband, with your wife, and there's a commitment that you're making, and you have to be careful not to allow distractions to come in the way of the relationship. And so I kind of want to speak a little bit about that, the distractions, because I think what tends to happen is we get back to that place, and sometimes we're in a positive, you know, place, and then the distractions come. And there's something that'll throw us off course, or we're so focused on the mess that's going on around us that we're not focusing on what we need to be focusing on with God or the path he's put us on. And there's these distractions that take away from the relationship.
Yeah. My pastor always says, what you nurture will grow. What you do not will die. And so it's more so about taking the time to realize, what am I nurturing right now? Am I nurturing the bad stuff that's going in my life? Like, am I coddling that? Like, am I, you know, all day long just thinking about it? Oh, I just hate it so much. You know, I just hate it so much, but I'm about it all day long. I'm talking about it all day long. I'm nurturing that bad situation in my life, instead of saying, okay, God, this is the time that I know I really need to spend with you. Okay, God, what do we do next? Right. You know, so it's about how are we managing what's going on in our lives? How are we seeing things? Okay, am I going to put that in its proper position? I know it's not working, so I'm just going to get back down on my knees and pray. Right. You know, I mean, that would be my take on distractions, but there's distractions. Like social media itself is a distraction. You make time for what you love and
That's
what you need.
That's right.
You prep all the time because you want to be a certain size. You know, you got to spend that time in the Word if you want that type of revelation, if you want that type of relationship, and not just in the Word, but in worship, in communication. You know, these are all relationship factors. It's just like, you can't say good morning and night to your husband and there's no in between. Like, and that's what a lot of us do. Good morning, God. Thank you for this day. Good night, God. Thank you for tonight. You know, and it's like, yeah. But we do it. And, you know, when we realize it, you know, we better. But yeah, go ahead and touch on that. Yeah.
You know what's, I mean, I think you said a lot there. I don't even think I have to touch on that specifically. But something else is that, you know, in relationships, and I'm using the idea of marriage because I think that's a good one. You're given things, right? And so, like my husband and I, for example, my husband will give me a gift, and if I just put it on the shelf and I don't use it, I'm gonna hear about it. There are things in our house where it's like, you know, I got you that, and it's something that I could use, and you're not using it, so I'm gonna take it back. You know. And I think that that's something else that we need to think about, because in this relationship with God, he starts to give us, and I don't just mean physical things, because that can happen, but I mean spiritually. He gives us these gifts, and they're gifts that he's asking us to use. He wants us to use. They're talents that he's given us for a very specific reason. It's like, you know, I'm giving you this gift because I want you to use it in my kingdom. I want you to use it for the benefit, you know, of society, for the benefit of my children. And if I'm giving you this wonderful gift and you're leaving it on the shelf, what are you saying to God? What are you saying about the thing that he gave you? Is there something that he is telling you to birth? Is there, you know, something that he's telling you to grow? And you're just like, all right, I see that. Yeah, I'm good at that, but I'm going to focus on everything else.
Well, I would say it's like that sweater that someone gave you at Christmas, you know, and you don't see the use for it. You may not see for it. You don't understand all the time they took to get that bad boy, you know, and all the love that they put into it. You don't see that. And you don't understand the importance of it, so you shelve it, like you said. But you're missing out on something here. And not only are you missing out on it, but the people who are connected to you need whatever it is that he has put inside of you. And so when we be distracted, when we choose to say no and think that something else is more important than what God himself gave to us, we're essentially saying no to destiny. Like, we're saying no to who we really are and taking on the lesser version of our lives. Like, we're saying, no, that's okay. I'm okay with mediocre. I'm okay with what I think is the right way. I'm okay with what society says I should have. So I already have a spouse. You know, I'm good. And God is saying, I didn't call you for just that. I didn't create you to just be. You know, there's so much more to your life, and it's all on the side of what I've given to you.
Right. Wow.
It's inside of you. Yeah.
That's so deep. You know, and we talk about gifts, and so, you know, spiritual gifts is something that we mentioned in this conversation, but there's several gifts. Like, I think that we can't just stop there. He sends us people. He sends us relationships. He sends us, you know, things to assist us in the journey. And what are we doing with those gifts? It's, you know, think about how you feel when you give someone something and you thought that they would treat it a certain way, and you thought that they would do a certain thing with it, or that they would feel, you know, just as excited about it as you did when you were giving it to you, and all they do is just kind of look at it and thanks, that's it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there are people that he might have sent us. There's relationships that he's given us to assist us. And what are we doing with those?
Yeah.
What are we telling him about all of these things that he's given us? How are we using them?
I think it's an issue of not seeing correctly. You know, like, you're not seeing things in their proper context because you're choosing to look at it from a limited perspective. So-and-so calls me, I feel like helping nobody. You know, tired, I just got off of work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the energy for you. Or it could be a relationship. Like, look how you and I met. Look how we met.
Right.
What if one of us was just in a funky mood, you know, and we were just like, I don't even know what she's talking about. Matter of fact, no need, you know. Boom.
Right.
You
right.
missed an entire chapter of what could have been in your life because you're not seeing things in their proper context. I think the thing to do is always pray, you know, and I had to work on that. Work on how I see things sometimes, because you know, without the Lord, I'm not so nice. I can admit that, you know, I'm a moody thing. So it's like, I have to pray, God, help me to see this situation in its proper context. Help me to see what you want me to see in my circumstances. Help me to see people that you have brought to my life. Help me to see things correctly. And when you see things correctly, that's an entire everything, because nothing in your life has changed, but how you see it has changed. And that right there could be the key to, you know.
Wow.
Maybe everything is already all right, but you just don't see it like that. Maybe those people are already there, but you don't know.
It's the eyes that you're looking through.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, you guys that, you know, you're on here, thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them up, and we'll try to answer some of your questions. Or you have any comments, anything you want me to, Erin, can you see the comments?
I can, you know.
Okay, I didn't know. So if there's anything that you want to, you know, say to Erin, or if you have any questions that you want us to answer, anything like that, go ahead and put that up right now, and we'll get to those. And we have some things to unveil in just a second. We're so excited. We got some major announcements, you guys. You don't want to miss this. If you have not shared the video, please share the video for me. Go ahead and share it with your followers and your friends. We definitely want everyone to get this message, get this word. Hope that it encourages someone that's, you know, in the position that we were in, or, you know, someone that needs to hear some of these things, that maybe has something that they put on the shelf that they need to unwrap and start using. We want to encourage other people. So definitely share this, and we definitely want you to share, because we're going to announce these speakers in a second. And when I tell you it's about to go down, it's about to go down. So share for me, please. I love your ministry and how you're keeping the women in the Bible stories alive. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's definitely on my heart. It is a gift that God gave me, and I am honored, humbled, and completely overjoyed that it's touching lives. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions or anything before we kind of move on? Any questions? Okay, if you put any up, I might go back to them. All right, guys. Leap Retreat 2018. It's going to be here in Austin, Texas. It is from March 8th until the 10th. We will be enjoying each other. It's for women. We'll be enjoying each other. We'll be encouraging one another. We'll be worshiping together. We have some artists that will be doing some performances. I'm not unveiling that because I can't give you too much, but we have some artists that are coming and doing some performances. We have some amazing small group facilitators that will be doing these small group sessions. And this is for Her Story Lives, as well as the Mary and Elizabeth Network. If you have not joined the network, you still have time to do so. The early bird registration for the network is closed. However, early bird registration for the general public is still open, so you'll be able to register at a discounted rate for a few days. If you are not a member of the network, you can join. It's completely free to join. And if you're a member, when you come to the retreat, you will have a special gift in your Her Story Lives goodie bag. So go to www.herstorylives.com to join. Erin, tell us a little bit about the network before I get into the speakers.
Yes. So, it's so funny because I came across the network originally before Rachel and I had ever really talked. And there was something about it that just resonated like in my spirit. Like I was just like, I need this. I need someone that I can connect with, especially like when you're doing ministry and stuff. Sometimes, people are always coming to you for certain things, but you have no one else to really talk to. And as just women in general, we need someone solely for us, because sometimes our friends don't get it, right? Like people who know us, like they don't get certain things. Sometimes husbands, but they just can't do that. They can't be that for us. And so I was so excited when I saw it. And so I signed up, and actually my Elizabeth is online right now, and I love her. A better pairing. Like when I tell you that the way that Rachel pairs this, she pairs you up, is like, it's truly God ordained thing. I really mean it, because we just laugh. Like we laugh all day. We already started like an early morning regimen where we get up early and we're both been more productive. We've already, it's already been helpful, and we're just starting out. So sign up. Even if, I know that the retreat discount is good, but sign up now so that you can just have that for yourself, because we need someone to help nurture that thing on the inside of us, someone to talk to, someone to just share your day with, because sometimes the people who have been around us the longest, they don't get it sometimes,
Yeah.
So do it.
And what's interesting about what you said is, in the story of Mary and Elizabeth, Mary and Elizabeth were cousins, but they didn't live near each other. And so when Mary traveled to Elizabeth, she traveled for days, and there had to be something that she was getting from this relationship. Like everyone that was around her probably knew her, you know what I mean? But it was probably very difficult for them to relate. And so it didn't mean that Mary didn't love the people that she was around. It meant that there was a specific person that she just needed to be in the presence of at that moment. And so she went with Elizabeth, and they were there for 3 months together. And so that's kind of the basis. I'm so glad that you talked about that. It's the basis of this network. It's for you to have a partner that you can, rely on, that is, like you said, a different set of eyes and ears, someone that may not know about your whole, life. Sometimes you need a fresh perspective. So it's about us being accountable for each other and building one another up. And, I know that there are some women that are afraid, that there's walls that they might have up. It's scary to talk to someone new and to share things, and, for someone to rely on you and for you to rely on them. That's not always easy. I really want to encourage you guys to move past that, because your breakthrough is on the other side of those barriers. I'm telling you, if you just put one foot forward and you show God that the gifts that he's giving you, even in relationship, are valuable to you, and you just give it a little bit of time, you will be amazed at the things that can come. Erin shared her story, but I've heard several stories from women that joined the network that have really just had some amazing experiences. So thank you, Erin, for talking about the network. Back to the retreat. Okay, I'm ready, guys. I'm going to stop pulling your leg. I'm going to tell you everybody that's coming. So, 7 speakers throughout the course of the weekend. You've met one of them. It's Erin Elise. I'm super excited for her to come and speak. She's coming from Atlanta, Georgia. And as you can tell, she's amazing. So I'm excited to hear her. You met my best friend. Her name is Alicia Brumfield. We did a video not long ago, and she's going to be another speaker. She's dynamic as well. I released the other day Minister Misty Early. She is a spiritual gangster, I'm trying to tell you, okay? You definitely do not want to miss Minister Misty Early. We also have Bianca Patterson. Bianca is actually who I'm paired up with in the Erin Elizabeth Network. She's been my partner, my sister. She's another phenomenal woman. She has a ministry called Fertile Soil, and she is amazing. And so you'll be hearing from her soon as well. She will be speaking. And Cora Jakes Coleman will be speaking at the retreat. And Real Talk Kim will be speaking. That's right. You heard it correctly. Cora Jakes Coleman and Real Talk Kim will be featured speakers at the retreat. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be life-changing. I'm telling you right now, those of you that are on this video, you're the first to hear that all of these speakers will be in the house. And so you have a chance to go on and to get your registration secured. Spots are limited. I don't want this to be a very huge event. So I will be cutting it off at a certain number. So if you don't have your registration secured, I'm sorry. Maybe next year. Get it. Those of you that are on the video, you had the first announcement. I am going to start posting after this, so people are going to know. So if you did not hear me correctly, that's right. Real Talk Kim and Cora Jakes Coleman will be in the place, along with Erin Elise, Alicia Brumfield, Misty Early, Bianca Patterson. I, of course, will be speaking as well. We also are going to have a book workshop. And Erin, I didn't tell you about this, but it seems that there are a lot of people that are writing books right now. There's a lot of people that are birthing this. And so the Bridge to Birth is manifesting already. And I want to assist those that want to be authors and want to be speakers. So we're going to do a workshop. I'm doing a workshop with my sister, Nitra Colbert. She's on there right now putting up the website, www.herstorylives.com. Nitra's an amazing author. And so she's going to go ahead and lead a workshop for us on how to become an author, on writing, and kind of the formula for doing so. And then I'm going to tag team with her, give some of my insight, and also give some information on how to be a public speaker, how to get your speaking career going. So we're going to do that together. It's going to be amazing.
Yes. I mean, what are you doing if you're not coming? Where are you going?
Like, where are you going to be on Friday? So you guys, we're so thankful that you joined us this morning. If you don't have any questions or anything, we're going to jump off. We really love you guys. We hope that you'll go to www.herstorylives.com and sign up for the Mary and Elizabeth Network and get your registration for the Leap Retreat 2018. I will be releasing that information now. Early bird is open. You'll be able to get your rooms starting next month. The rooms will be $150 a night. That is not included in the registration price. The registration price will include your full pass to the weekend for everything that goes on. You'll get a Her Story Lives goodie bag, and you will be fed breakfast and lunch for your registration. So that's a steal. And then you do have to get your own room and book that as well. I do want to show you some new things that are on the website that you can buy. Some merchandise. Hello, Her Story Lives hats. We have some new hats that are going on the site today, and I wanted to show you my wonderful shirt that I have going on. And those of you that were asking about the There's Something About Mary squad goals, you can get those on the website as well. And some of those squad goals shirts there.
Nice.
Yes. So we want you to be a part of the movement. Go to www.herstorylives.com. We love you all. God bless you all. And we will be talking to you and hearing from you hopefully very, very soon. Thank you so much, Erin. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone. I truly enjoyed you. See you at the retreat.
Bye, guys.